Hi, I'm Nate, and this is BestSlope Bronco. Now, I tried to do a video just a second ago outside. However, it is so incredibly windy that you cannot hear a gosh darn word I was saying. I am here today at what's known as the Hubbard Mesa Open Space. That's what the Bureau of Land Management calls it. However, locals call it the Res. Now, I assume that's because a ways down the road there is a reservoir. This is where kids go to, teenagers go to party on the weekends, I think, when they don't want to get in trouble. There's a lot of garbage and trash here, which is not very pleasing to the eye, of course, but it is a good place for a little bit of off-roading. I used to take my my Ford Ranger, 2002 Ford Ranger FX4. Really loved that pickup. Of course, had to sell it to buy the Bronco. The reason this is a good place is, even though it's primarily for OHVs, it's a good place to kind of test out some things and to kind of learn a little bit about some four-wheeling. Now, I came today looking for mud, and that was apparently a very foolish assumption that there would be any mud because it hasn't really rained here in about a month. Now, the summer started out pretty wet, and it just stopped raining one day and then hasn't really rained since. There have been some short bouts of rain over the last couple weeks, and rumor has it that next week we're going to get almost a full 3 or 4 days worth of rain. So that will be really nice to find some mud to get this thing dirty in. If you look kind of down below me there, that's normally completely full of water. You can probably see the ruts down there. So in those ruts, almost always there's water, there's mud, and it's pretty sloppy. I may take you down there here in just a second so you can see just how deep it is. I was never brave enough to take the Ranger in there because I wasn't sure that I would be able to get out. I'm relatively confident in the Bronco being able to get through it. However, I'm also still like a new father trying to protect his baby. In fact, as I rolled down the gravel road here, I could hear the clanging and the clacking, which hopefully was the skid plates absorbing some rocks rather than the body and the paint job. I did just get it back today, the Bronco, from Primo's Auto Center in Glenwood Springs, and they did a magnificent job, which I will show you here later, in doing the paint protection film. The paint protection film, when I walked up to it, I thought he'd lied to me, and he didn't actually put paint protection film on it because you can't see the seams, you can't see where it ends. They did a really nice job tucking it inside so that it doesn't actually look like there is paint protection film. Now, the real bummer about that is that even though I took it almost as soon as I had it to get the paint protection film, Glenwood Springs is a little bit of a drive, and there were already dings or paint chips that were missing, and not much, but enough to piss me off and frustrate me. But it's over now. It's covered with paint protection film. That should do a pretty nice job taking care of a lot of the issues. So I'm gonna drive down here, and maybe we can show you how deep these ruts are, and maybe you can see why I was a little worried about doing it in the Ranger. So if you look down there, you'll see the ruts. Some of them don't look too bad, but I would imagine that when things get muddy, it's a little more hairy. And again, I would get out and show you this, but it's just, you can't really tell now, but it's so windy you wouldn't even be able to hear me. So let's pull forward a little bit and you can kind of see what we're looking at. So you can probably see how this would be kind of hairy if it was full of water and mud. Although it's kind of nice to see it dry in a way, because now I can get a sense for just how deep it is and will maybe make it easier when I come back and try this thing when there's a little mud in it. I'm hoping that we really do get that rain next weekend or next week, and then we can come down here and get this thing a little bit dirty. There's one more spot I can check to see if there is mud. I highly doubt it, but it's usually deeper than this. And so we're gonna drive up a little ways and see if there's any mud there. I'm gonna be driving right across, but not up, the JQS trail, and the JQS trail is a little misleading. It doesn't sound like or it sounds like it might be an off-road Jeep trail or something like that. It is a little bit hairy, and I wouldn't take my Mustang up there. However, it's not too bad to get up there and get up on top of the biggest feature that's in this area, that's called the Roan Plateau. Some people do call it the Book Cliffs because they, I guess, sort of look like books, but the Roan Plateau, and you can get up on the top there and drive around. We'll probably go up there sometime soon as one of our first little, I guess, overland type excursions. But anyway, so we're gonna go up a little further and see if we can find some mud. Really looking for mud. So here I am again. This is not the spot with the mud that I promised, but it is on top of what I think is the actual Hubbard Mesa. You know, just like about anywhere in Colorado, the views are pretty incredible. We're kind of up above the Colorado River Valley here, and it just impresses me every time. Now, I mentioned the Book Cliffs or the Roan Plateau. I'm gonna see if I can flip this camera around here and give you a shot. So that is the Roan Plateau. A little less windy right now, so presumably you can hear me. But it's you can see it really dominates our skyline here. I think a lot of people would look at this area of Colorado and not really appreciate it like they do the Front Range, where you can see all the gigantic mountains like Long's Peak and Pikes Peak. But this really is a pretty incredible area. Nice area to live, although it is really hot today. And of course, we haven't seen near as much the rain as they have on the Front Range. Now, if you're not from Colorado and you don't know what I'm referring to when I say Western Slope, which is the name of the channel, the BestSlope Bronco. The West Slope is the best slope, as they say. So the Western Slope is everything west of the Continental Divide, and the Front Range is that area just basically east of the Continental Divide and along the I-25 corridor, Denver, Colorado Springs, Pueblo. You get a little bit east of there, and we call that the Eastern Plains. So we've basically broken this state down into three different regions. While I've got you out here, let's just go ahead and see if we can take a look at this Bronco here. And I gotta say, it looks pretty marvelous. I mean, how can you not be excited about a vehicle like this? And that Velocity Blue is really just incredible. Getting a little dusty, of course, but let's see what other kind of trouble we can get into. So, I apologize if this video isn't as entertaining as it could be. My better half and the other half of BestSlope Bronco, Allison, is away. She's in Montana right now, but she'll make things a little lighter, and we'll have a lot of fun when she finally shows up for some of these videos. But in the meantime, you're stuck with me. My students think I'm hilarious, so, or at least they pretend they do. I'm not sure. But anyhow, so hopefully hopefully we'll have Allison here in the next video, and we'll be more entertaining. So I guess it's time to wrap up this video. I just got back from the Upper-Mesa Open Space, which I want to point out again is kind of a nice place to learn how to do a little bit of off-roading, because it's not remote. I mean, you're basically right in town, and you can get yourself handled and untangled pretty easily, and there's nothing too extreme there. So it's a nice place to maybe learn how to do some stuff. I will remind everyone that BestSlope Bronco is not a channel of 4x4 experts. I don't really know anything. I don't know that Allison really knows anything, but we're learning, and we think that might be fun. So we'll get better at this as we go, and we hope that you'll join us. So like and subscribe, and for now, BestSlope Bronco signing off.